If your friend called you up today and said, "Oh, I made a mistake. I blew it. I spent $200 at TJ Maxx and we're supposed to be on this consumer debt, blah, blah, blah. I'm such an idiot." What would you say? You would say, "It's okay. People make mistakes. I still love you. Stand up, brush it off, move on. You can do this." So, why is it so hard for you to do that yourself? Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Gabby, and we have been on a journey to pay off all of our consumer debt. We started with a little over $75,000, I believe, in September of last year. You can go back on my channel and see our monthly check-ins, or my monthly check-in, on our debt progress. I've been trying really hard to financially make the right decisions, make better decisions, changing small micro habits and tweaking so that we can really stay on point and focused on the goal, which is paying off all of this consumer debt. So I figured now would be a great time to kind of talk about, for those people who are in the middle of their debt journey like ours, how to stay on track, how to stay focused, how to stay motivated. What did we do? I just want to give you some palpable tips you can take with you. So here are 12 things that you can do to stay on track and stay motivated when you are on your debt repayment journey. And you're going to see me look at my iPad throughout this because I took some notes, so I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So number one is going to be know your why. And not only do you need to know your why, you need to write it down and put it somewhere that you see every single day. At the moment I'm shooting this video, I can see behind you on the wall are our 2026, our prayers for 2026. There's 4 major prayers there. One of them is pay off all our consumer debt. And I will not mention the other ones. They are personal, but the idea is that those are our big reasons, right? Our big why as to why we want to be consumer debt free. We have a copy of them in our room, so when we wake up, we see them every morning. And I have another copy in my other bedroom, which is at my home office. So I see that every day that I'm working from home. This is big to keep me motivated and keep me remembering why it's so important and the real reason behind it, right? If you just say, I want to pay off debt, I think that's too general. If you dig deeper a little bit, it's like the tip of the iceberg. There's a much bigger iceberg underneath. So figure out what's important to you, your reason why. What are you trying to strive for? Is it so that you can retire early? Is it so that you can stay home and have a family? Is it that you want to be more monetarily generous and you know that once you do get out of debt, you are going to be able to give more, right? That kind of like real powerful why is important. Okay, number 2, this is a big one for me, is keep a want, not need list. So what I do on my phone is I have a ton of lists, and maybe I can show you here on the screen. I have like all these reminders on my phone. And one particular list is called want, not need. And if I decide that I would like something, but I don't need it, I will add it to the list instead of purchasing it. I save this list for when I'm paid a bonus, when it's a special holiday, it's a special occasion and we've decided to treat ourselves, or maybe even like a birthday where I can ask somebody else to buy it for me. This not only will prevent me from buying something on a random Tuesday that is outside of the budget, but sometimes the closer we get to that holiday or birthday or event where I could buy it, I end up deleting the item off the list because I realized I didn't really need it in the first place and it was kind of an impulse purchase. So that want, not need list has been huge for me. Okay, next one is big, and I'm going to be honest with you, I just struggled with this last week. My girlfriend came to visit me, and we were kind of bored, and we were like, oh, I need a new comforter, and then we ended up window shopping, and that's going to be avoiding stores like TJ Maxx, Target, the ones that are really good at putting everything out that's not necessary, but that you suddenly have the urge to buy. Any store that encourages impulse spending, I highly recommend avoiding during this period when you're paying off debt. For me personally, it's an absolute nightmare. If you get me in one of those stores, I will be spending money because I am an impulse shopper and I'm also an emotional shopper. And so those are the things that I really try to avoid during this season, right? But I try to remember there will be a time, there will be a place. It's not forever, it's just for now. Okay, number 4. I try to avoid the online shopping, right? I think we put Amazon on our no buy list for 2026. That hasn't been perfect, I'll be honest with you. But if I'm going to shop online, I will go to buy the item right? I'll put it in the cart and then I will click out of the website or the browser. Like, absolutely, just almost like I'm gonna go purchase it, and I go up to the point where I have to click, like, check out, and then close the window entirely. Again, this kind of goes hand in hand with the want not need list. I find that if I don't impulsively just purchase it in the moment, there's a very, very big chance I will completely forget about it, or again, especially like Amazon, where it kind of leaves it in your cart till next time, I'll come back and be like, oh, I don't need that. Why did I even think that I needed that? Okay, number 5 is going to be obvious, right? That's budgeting each month. But when I say this, I mean budgeting with each member of the party that's involved in paying off the debt, right? So if you have a spouse, if you have a partner, whoever is on board with you, that you're doing it together, you need to have these kind of budget meetings where you reflect on the previous month, take a look at the transactions. Mike and I will sit down and look at, what did we do well? What categories did we overspend in? How were our miscellaneous spending categories? But we really, really try to reflect back and see, like, what can we tweak? What can we improve? What could we do better for next month? If you don't do this, I understand the setting the budget, right? Setting the budget's one thing, but the reflection afterwards, I think, has been a huge improvement. Even with me, like, making these videos every month at the beginning of the month where I do a financial check-in with you guys, big for me, because I'm just keeping myself on track and bringing it back to, this is the course that I'm on, here's the reason I'm on it, and here's what I did well, and here's what I could, be more mindful of for the following month. Okay, next one is a big one for us, especially because Mike and I love to eat, and that's going to be limiting our grocery shopping to once, maybe twice a week. Over the past few years, I've acknowledged that we spend a lot of money on food, Mike and I. Like, I'm talking budgets that you would look at these and you'd be like, are you feeding a family of 4 to 6? But we just love food, and that's okay. There's no problem with it, right? But we're in a season where the focus is paying off debt. We cannot be allowing ourselves to spend, $1,000, $1,200 a month on food for 2 people. And that's not like restaurants. That's like a majority of like groceries. And it comes down to when we craved something, we would just go buy all the ingredients for that thing for one meal. I hate to throw my husband under the bus, but he was notorious for this. I'd be like, all right, the budget's going to be $200 for the week for groceries. And he would be like, oh, spent it all, just like that. And 120 of it was on like one London broil meal that he wanted to season a certain way, so he had to buy particular things, and he wanted this kind of potato, and he wanted to do something fancy. It doesn't have to be complicated, right? But it has to be smart. You have to look at what you already have in your pantry and focus on adding things in to make meals out of that, right? That's been really big for us. That kind of rolls us into the next one, which is going to be making a list and sticking to it when you do go grocery shopping. I've been using ChatGPT lately to say, hey, we have this, and that ingredient. How can I make a meal out of this, right? Or I'm saying, I've got this and this, what do I need to add to this to make this a meal? And that really helps, right? We have staples in our pantry like beans, like tuna, canned tuna, like rice, a lot of spices and seasonings. And so looking for ways to make meals out of stuff we already have, then creating our shopping list based on that and sticking to the shopping list when we go grocery shopping, huge. Okay, so limiting that grocery to once or twice a week, making a list, right? Not making everything urgent, like, oh, I'm out of milk, so I have to go today. No, we can stretch and go 2 days without milk. And then when we're out of eggs and cheese as well, all right, then we, absolutely need to go this weekend. Okay, so the next one is going to be focusing on free activities to help keep us busy on the weekends. I find that Monday through Friday, I don't spend money, right? I'm working, I'm busy. The evenings are, relaxing after work and cooking dinner at home and for the most part saving money. Top tier 2 days when I spend the most money are going to be Saturdays and Sundays when I have the whole day. It's totally open to anything and everything I want to do, right? And the day gets away from us, especially when I'm like, I think I just want to go window shopping. That's like the worst for me. I'm just going to go look at the thrift store. I'm just going to go walk around Target. No, don't do it. And on top of that, make plans that are free. Okay, so things that we have done to keep ourselves busy on the weekends that does not involve spending money. Mike is a big gamer, so I mean, $30 a month, Microsoft Xbox is part of his like miscellaneous category. He could sit there for 48 hours. It's actually insane. I have a extensive book collection that I'm working on reading, and honestly, I've kind of been in a slump the last month. Sometimes when I read a really good series, like the one I just finished a couple weeks ago, I'm just like I can't even handle any another book. So it's kind of been tough, honestly. I'm gonna be total side tangent here, but yeah, Bow Before the Elf Queen. I'm still not over it. It was a was not expecting it. Such a yeah. Okay, I'm getting off topic here. Taking the dogs for a hike, right? Going for a walk, going to the park with them. That's been big as the weather gets a little bit warmer. At this point, I would think I've talked about it enough on here. I'm part of a small group at my church that is this lovely woman teaches us how to bake sourdough items. So we started with regular sourdough bread. Now we've moved on to sourdough pretzels and sourdough crackers. And it's fantastic. A bunch of us women get together. We talk about the Lord and what He's done for us. We pray, we listen to worship music, and then we, enjoy bread. And she teaches us a new recipe. And then there's a group chat. We like exchange our baking tips and things that we're baking throughout the week. And so that's also something that I do. I bake at home. Yes, it's a little bit of expense for the flour and the sugar and whatnot, but it's saving me a lot more money than I'm going out shopping for the day. I'm going out to restaurants. I'm going out to, do activities with friends like concerts and things that cost a lot more money. On Sundays, I serve at my church on some Sundays. So that's like 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., right? And then I come home in the afternoon and I relax and I kick back and I feel like I've done something, that has been helpful to others and, that I enjoy and I love serving the Lord. So just things that take up my time that don't cost me money. One more thing too, we started a Dungeons and Dragons campaign with some of our friends locally. So some Saturday afternoons when there's no bread baking group, we're going over there for Dungeons and Dragons. Again, bring a cheap buffalo chicken dip and have some fun with your friends, board games, puzzles, whatever. It's really enjoyable when friends want to get together and the focus is not, let's go to a bar or restaurant and spend hundreds of dollars on drinking. By the way, I am an ex-drinker. I've been sober for about 4 years, so this is my life now. But I used to blow a lot of money on alcohol as well. So if that's a struggle for you, comment down below. I'm here if anybody needs to talk. It's a lot, right? That will absolutely suck your money and put you in debt sometimes. Keeping up with other people. It's really hard to do. You got to be honest with your real friends. They'll totally support you and be open to coming over and hanging out on the couch, and not spending money. So, shout out to Sarah. My girl Sarah came over and just chilled for the weekend. I'm the one that encouraged her to go to TJ Maxx. It was my fault. Oh, and I guess that leads into my next one, which was letting friends know we can't afford certain things in this season, right? It's okay to say no. I already covered it, so I really don't have to cover it again, but people are going to say, I have this event coming up. I've got this thing. Do you want to go do this? And you're going to have to say no sometimes, right? Or set a budget line item for fun money. And that's going to be my next point, right? And number 10 would be having a budget line for each of us for fun money has been big. Ramsey will tell, I guess I'm not 100% Dave Ramsey, sorry. Because they'll say like nothing, rice and beans, right? You're not having fun, you're not going out, you're not seeing the inside of a restaurant unless you work at it. No, we will still have fun line items because it's a haul. It's a slog, right? We are taking to celebrating every time we pay off a new line in the debt, right? So we started out with like a couple of different lines of credit and this and that, and so when one is completely eliminated, we celebrate. We each have a miscellaneous category that's about $50 to $100 depending on the month. That's our fun money, right? We also have a restaurant budget of $100 a month. We like to eat out, right? If we did not have that, we would absolutely just blow past our budget. It's like being on a strict diet. By the way, I tried to go back on Optavia for the third time, and I only lasted a week. Why? Because it's very, very deficient. It's very deficient in calories. It's such a drastic swing from what I'm used to that my body, my brain, my mind were like, absolutely not. Went from 2,500 to 3,000 calories per day down to 1,200. This is exactly the same thing. You can't dive right into making your budget completely unsustainable. And that's the piece that they tell you about, like the budget takes 3 months to stick, because you're gonna do that. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, we'll only spend 400 on groceries. And then you'll come to realize, nope, it's going to be 600. We can't seem to get it below 600, or whatever that number is for you. For us, it's really like 800, honestly. We just can't, because we also put like other things in the category of groceries. So household items, hair care, whatever. I don't know why I'm explaining that to you. The point is, you do what works for you, okay? If you cannot be super, super hardcore, the people on the internet are probably lying to you. They're not all so super hardcore. We all are imperfect, and that's okay. All right, number 11 feels like I've already said this throughout this video, but looking at our progress regularly. So I kind of touched on it earlier with the like checking in at the end of the month and looking back at your budget. Having some sort of progress meter that you can look at, and every time you make little payments, you adjust it. Okay, so for us, we have our debt chain. It is hanging in the living room, and it has a little chain link made of paper for every $500 of our debt. And so each month we get to cut the links and see how much debt we've paid off, right? The other thing that I did was I wrote a list of all of our original debts back in September. I put them on my office wall, like right in front of me as I'm working, so I can see that's what it used to be. And then I have a Google Drive spreadsheet that I open I've had this thing for 6 or 7 years. I open it at least every few days, I would say 3 to 4 days. And I check, like I can update each line as to how much we owe. So it gives me a complete spread of how much we owe for consumer debt, how much we owe in total debt, which includes the mortgage on our rental property in Florida. I have a separate where we were in terms of how much debt we had each year. So since 2020, 2019, I've recorded at some point throughout the year, this is how much debt we have. And so I can see the progress of how much debt we've had throughout the years. I also have a savings tracker. It tells me how much is in our emergency fund, how much have we had each month, how much have we had in the years prior. And then now, starting last year, I did the your net worth. So there's a net worth calculator on Ramsey's website. You can plug in all of your assets and then all of your liabilities, and it basically comes up with a, your net worth statement. So I have that now that I wanted to start tracking annually. I think it's really big, and I think it's super important. So having some sort of visual tracker, having something you can check in and update, that's also big. So you can see how far you've come. And as you make progress, you kind of have those little wins of yay, I get to highlight it in, or I get to cut it off, or whatever it is for you that works. My last one will be a wise people have told me the best way to do it is one day at a time. And I will say that is absolutely my mantra for everything now. One day at a time. Stay present where your feet are planted. The only thing you can control is this moment, right? So try not to live too far in the past and have regrets. It's gone. You're never going to get it back. If you stumble forward into the future too far, you'll be paralyzed and think you can never do it. So what can you do now in this moment to improve a little bit, right? Keep moving forward. Keep it simple, one day at a time, okay? Reset if you gotta. You make a mistake, reset. Give yourself grace, okay? God would give you grace, right? Jesus was all about grace. So why can't you have it for yourself? If your friend called you up today and said, "Oh, I made a mistake. I blew it. I spent $200 at TJ Maxx, and we're supposed to be on this consumer debt, blah, blah, blah. I'm such an idiot." What would you say? You would say, "It's okay. People make mistakes. I still love you. Stand up, brush it off, move on. You can do this." So why is it so hard for you to do that yourself? Huh? Why is it so difficult for you to give yourself grace? I had to go through this self-reflection workbook last year, and I'll end with this. And the workbook started with, how do you talk to your friends when they're down? Okay, now how do you speak to yourself, right? Would you speak to your friends the way that you speak to yourself? I'm getting emotional about it because God's done a wonder in my life in this category. Because yeah, you deserve better, and stop beating yourself up. And if you're anything like me, you're probably watching this channel because you you're getting something from it. But dang, you gotta just, keep on keeping on. Yeah, that is my 12 tips for staying the course, keeping the faith, and keep moving forward when you are paying off debt. And as of the recording of this video, super excited because we have on paper so far paid off 17,000 in 6 months, which is absolutely massive. And we're going to be out of debt a lot sooner than we originally thought. Praise God. So that is all I have. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've gotten something out of this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, whatever, if you enjoyed the channel, and I'll see you next week.